Welcome back to the story of the Samaritan woman. Now we're coming into the final stage. We have two more sessions. Yeah, today we're going to summarize the whole transformation process for this woman. Now let's just take a look at what we have been through. First, the heart-changing woman. We basically cover a framework that I used to describe this transformation for this woman. I pointed out aware, confess, return, forgiveness, reborn, learn, and leads. Essentially, she goes through 7 breakthroughs in her life by just encountering Jesus in her life. And second is the living half of the life. We compare her bitter life and the sweet life. Her first half of her life is bitter, but because the meeting Jesus, her whole life altogether is sweet. This session, we cover how Jesus helped her to relieve from her bondage. Jesus taught her how to telling the truth to herself, telling the truth to others, including God. And that relieved her, all right? Unlimited joy, basically the key teaching of Jesus about the living water. And the woman on fire essentially is to describe how this the new life of this woman and enable her to do even better. Essentially the story for as a disciple for Jesus. Let's have a quick look about her issue. Her issue is that she's not telling herself the truth and not being truthful to others, including God. Now, this teaching, I think, no matter you believe in the Bible or not, we all should know that, right? This is the right things to do. But the problem is why she didn't do it in the first place. And because of that, she created another issue for herself. That is the crux of the problem. Now we fully analyze the text. Now we put all the knowledge, back into this diagram. Initially, the woman has been ignoring her problem, and it was the Lord make her aware that she actually having these issues. This woman's issue is really similar to Adam's, because the Adam also hiding from God, basically not being truthful. Okay, when God asked Adam about, did you eat the fruit on the tree, and Adam didn't address that question directly. So really similar to this woman, that she actually knows she has a few husbands in her life, but she's denying it. Okay, now this is something like when you tell lies to yourself 1,000 times, you start to believe it is the truth. All right, like a frog being slowly boiled alive. So after a while, then you start to believe that is the truth, and then starting to ignore and not even able to see actually she has that issue, not being truthful to herself. Now, so typically we will find as we are human being, we ignore most of the things that we don't want to see. All right. So now it suddenly become blind because we've been used to not to seeing it, and when the time goes on, we no longer see it. Okay. When Jesus come to meet her, even though the Lord bring it up to her and really bring up the problem in front of her, she rejected right away. Almost like she said, like an ostrich, hides head in the sand. She basically reject that suggestion. Even though you bring it up, the people usually reject, because they've been used to not facing the truth and not willing to accept this. Now, this is the referring to the whether we admit it publicly. Now, this the next part, we call it returns. Uh, this is more referring to our heart. So when someone try to offer the help, yeah, internally we usually keep it aside. Our heart doesn't want to accept it. All right, and these two are connected. All right, this is more to the mouth. This is more to the heart. If you are not willing, no matter what you do, uh, you would not confess that actually you have this issue. And also for the this stage, we typically don't want to put ourselves into that situation because we will feel vulnerable that because we truly believe that we have the problem, and also you don't have the solution. It is really hard for someone to be in that state. Usually, people at that stage will seeking help. Sometimes it might be seeking the spiritual help or the psychology help or and many other things to try to address their vulnerable situation. However, in this case, the Jesus give her the comfort to make sure she is not too vulnerable because uh, the next step is uh, Jesus bring this woman to the truth, and in this critical stage, she asks the help uh, from God. Now, what is being forgiven is that in this case is just telling the truth. Okay, that is the quick and easy solution. So, because we're not telling the truth, now we know that we are wrong. We should be telling the truth. Now, when we ask and admit that we didn't tell the truth, and our heart is also willing to address it and ask for the forgiveness will almost automatically forgiven. It was the promise in the Bible that God say, okay, whoever asks, it will be forgiven. Once this is the we forgiven, then this is the from here to here. It is almost no time that we will be reborn, because once we're being forgiven, Jesus' word now living in our heart, and now we become a new creature. Okay, and in the Jesus word that we become a spring of living water. Now that meaning is that we have a new life. Okay, so all these uh, things is in the past, and now we have the new life, and so-called we call it reborn. Right, and from the verse 28, we see that this woman suddenly have the sudden courage that she can face everybody with her whole life. Before she can, now she can. Going forward is that besides she telling the people around her about her story, and that is she started to share her joy with other people. We call this testimony. She testified, "Wow, this is really the Messiah. He enabled me to do something great." So she can help herself not to tell anybody. Now she become one of the disciples because she basically telling everyone, okay, around her. She come to basically bring the whole town out and come and see Jesus, and then the town people also ask Jesus to stay in their town. And you may wonder how could one woman be able to mobilize the whole town and come out and listen to Jesus. All right, so she must asking other people's help, organize it. For example, if you have a big meeting, okay, even the arena, you cannot be just one person to mobilize it. It must be some other people also sharing her story to mobilize other people. Now she become one of the leader, okay, to organize this whole event, at least for 2 days. And Jesus is preaching to the whole town. I hope that this diagram give you uh, a good framework to understand her transformation. So each one of this is a breakthrough for her. From not knowing become knowing, from reject to confess, from refuse to returns, from ask and then become forgiven, and from her old life become the reborn, the new life. From her old ways, now she learns how to live with the new life, and also even better that she even mobilized other people to make such a big event, okay, for the whole town. This is the new life and the new creation. How could one person of this encounter just changing her mind of, I should tell the truth, then her life changed completely. Now, it is not about she doing the right thing. It is about how she find the courage to do the right thing. Everyone knows what the right thing is, but we just don't do it. And we don't have the courage to do it. Where's the courage come from? Think about it. This is the critical piece of her salvation. The most critical piece is essentially happening around these two steps. We use the same framework and see how the Lord changed her. It was the Lord who pulled her out, okay, from the sand, so that now she aware. If you really want to address this issue, you cannot be just putting your head in the sand to avoid it. Second is the confession. The Lord is really patient. She rejected the Lord in the first place. But the one who really want to save her have the patience. And even at the vulnerable stage, she cannot get away with the real issue. The Lord give her the comfort so that keep her to stay with the Lord until she start to talk about, if the Messiah is here, then now everything will be fine. And the Lord immediately tell her, this is the one that you were talking about. So that's the joy of the forgiveness. So when she asks for something and then the solution is being given, as long as she has the courage. Where's the courage come from? It was the Jesus word, and now become in her heart, become the spring of the living water. Now, this is almost nothing stop her from conversion. So in terms of the whole event, all this could be happen in the moment. But in just a moment, she gone through all this, all in her heart. Now she have the new life after the reborn. She no longer follow her old life and old ways and not being passive. Now she turned into a different person and she share her life, all right, and then learn to the new ways with her new life to tell everybody how her life being changed. And then finally become one of the disciples. This is almost a pattern. Whoever come to the Lord, they might experience such a transformation like this. We're going through 7 stages of breakthrough before we come with a new life. And this is also somewhat similar to my conversion also, that once I aware that, actually something that I didn't know, I thought that I know the whole world, I know my whole life, but actually I still largely ignore most of the things that in my life. And learn that I should bring it up and put it in front of my face and really confess that, I really have that issue. Besides to talk about it, but my heart also want it. Luckily, I've been helped by my pastor. Then I asked for the help, essentially asked for the forgiveness, and that forgiveness is given and give me the tremendous peace of my life. I no longer bother by those things that I've been confessed. I know that I have a new life, so that I start to learn more what is going on, how this whole thing is all about. So that's why I come and pitch to you, right? Now, essentially, besides I learned, I also and lead and teach other people about, oh, it's actually, I've been going through this process. Okay, I'm repeating what this woman did, okay, in 2000 years ago. What is the joy of this woman? Is it only because Jesus helped her to solving one problem? This is only the one of the cycle of her problem. But she could have come with many other her problem and then put it in front of the Lord. She will also get relief like this. Even though you have the thousands of the problem, with the God's word of the new life, you have the new chance of changing your life. Okay, because it's the living water. You no longer bondage by the misunderstanding and solving the wrong problem, so that you always have the courage to facing any challenges in your life. Now, I just used one simple summary to summarize this whole thing is, this woman is not just finding one golden egg. Finding one golden egg is good, okay? But what she found is the goose of bearing a golden egg. That is the joy. Because she no longer worried that she find no solution, because she have the goose. Always, when you're shaking it, okay, come on, give me another solution. Oh, the egg, come out. And now you have the solution. This woman found the savior of her life. So that's why she have no worry about the uncertain future. Whenever she has the issue, she can always come to the Lord. Lord, I know that I didn't do well in this case. I truly believe that my heart needs to change, but I don't know how. And I know that you always here, be with me. Whenever I come to you to ask for the forgiveness, you will always give me the forgiveness. Relieve me from the burden. Because I have your word, your life in my heart. Because I'm already renewed being, reborn with your new life. I just need one reborn, and then now I have the new life. So that I can learn the new ways. I no longer bondage and bound by my old way of doing things. And so that I no longer being a passive person, rather than I have the courage and passion to tell other people how great you are. You are my Lord, you are my God forever. You will be with me till the eternity, because I know you are my Savior. You will always be with me. May you find the same joy of this woman who found the Savior of her life till the eternity. See you next time.